Yeah, yeah. What they saying? I'm so divine, I'm so divine. Imperfection, perfection, my presence shines. My mental is parasailing maritime. They say I'm destined to read the palm line. Yeah, I'm so divine, I'm so divine. Imperfection, perfection, my presence shines. My mental is parasailing maritime. They say I'm destined to read the palm line. Yeah, I'm so divine.
Welcome to the H.G.R.G podcast, episode 32. What's going on, fellas? DT, just Jerry, back with another one.
You already know what I'm gonna ask, bro. DT, you with us?
I'm just surprised Lance still here.
Go.
We sent so many people for his neck. He ain't quit yet.
Yeah.
That way good. That way real good.
Listen, even when I take a loss, I still come out, what I'm saying, unscathed like my man Canelo.
I know how that feels, bro. I know how I feel. I took a loss a couple days ago, a couple weeks ago, But I'm here though, man.
That's it. But listen, guys, here's something that is not talked about. Speaking about not talking about something, maybe you guys should talk about who you are and what you do as a real estate investor.
I like what you did there.
Like how I did that.
That went real good.
Yo, you guys,
he needs a different guy.
Get this,
Like
episode 32. He's with you now. Come on, bro.
You already know.
It only took 32 episodes.
Yeah. When you see episode 33, you back like pimping. But anyway, it's very important for people to know who you are. Yeah. Not in an arrogant way, right? Now I'm this, I'm that, I have this, I have that. But things show up at your doorstep when people know who you are and what you do.
100%.
In the last episode, DT, you were saying that you had a company party, and then you had a cousin's girlfriend, was it?
Yes, sir.
That went, oh, what do you do? Well, we're real estate, so this is our company. And you go, oh wow, X, Y, and Z. It's selling their property. Can you help us?
Yep. Yeah, and that was it. To be clear, that wasn't a conversation between me and the girl. That was just telling my cousin what I do. And then I don't know if it was pillow talk or whatever, but my cousin told his girlfriend, hey, my cousin does that. And that's how it worked out. But, to your point, yeah, 100%. Listen, man, thoughts become things, right? I had a place, we all had places in life where, we talked about sports. We talked about girls, we talked about clubbing, we talked about work, we talked about life, kids, whatever. And that was, our main focus. Whenever I got around, my surroundings, my circle, our conversation essentially was the same every time we got around each other. How's life, how the kids, whatever. But when I get around people, once I got involved in real estate, all that third party conversation went out the window. Like, anybody who knows me knows that first and foremost, how's the family, health, all that good stuff. Second of all, real estate.
Right.
Third of all, real estate. For everything real estate after that, because I'm 100% embodied in real estate. So I talk about that all the time. Family get-togethers, birthdays. I could be, as a matter of fact, I just met my next door neighbor today. True story. They bought the house last November. So 6-7 months ago, they bought the house. So they're snowbirds. So they bought it in November and then they go to Florida. So they've been in Florida. They just came back this week. So he was outside tidying his yard up. I was outside tidying my yard up. And I was like, hey, how you doing? And we introduced ourselves. And after I say what my name is, he tells me what his name is. He, hey, I'm in real estate, investment properties, flips, da, da, da. Oh, are you, do you play in that field? Nope, he doesn't. He does investing in other things. But, you know, I made that clear up front. So now when he talks to somebody that is involved, oh, my neighbor does that, you know, and that may be something that comes up, you know, a year from now, 6, 7 months from now. But it's super important. You never know who you rub elbows with.
Right.
You know, even, you know, at school, when you take, like, I take my son to school and I talk to his teacher, parent teacher conference. Oh, he tells me, you know, that you guys ride 4-wheelers and dirt bikes and you guys have property that you do that. Yeah, we do. Oh, what do you do? I'm in real estate. You know, buy, fix, flip, landlord, hold, buy, hold, any areas. If you know anybody, please, you know, you have my information, please, you know, let me know, contact me. Oh, I will. Then you pass back, you know, you go buy that. It's super important. You don't even know how that's, first of all, that's free.
Right.
Marketing.
You're marketing yourself.
Yeah, you're marketing yourself, right? Word of mouth is like the best marketing. And then personable marketing, it speaks for something. You know, when somebody has, you know, a relationship with you and they know the type of person you are, you know, I bought a property before where a person said, it's my grandmother's house. My grandfather just died. She's super emotionally attached to the property because all her kids raised there, her grandkids, and she doesn't just want to sell it to anybody. So I had to go meet her, have coffee with her. It was a process. It was like 2 months that I had to work to buy that house.
Right.
I worked for it. I spoke to her. She knew what it was. I didn't get it for like a steal deal. I got it for a good price for her and a good price for me. And, you know, we worked it out. I did what I did. And all that was single-handedly and solely based off of me telling somebody what I do, them saying to grandma, hey, I know somebody and he's a good person. And then that, you know, it worked out. So I can't even emphasize how important that is.
Well, and that's not just Jerry. If you want to tell them, that's how we came about. You know, we had lost touch for a little bit. I moved out of New York, right? We had a conversation on the phone, and you asked me what?
What's the market out there?
Wow.
I'm like, really? And what happened after that?
So what happened was he was like, you know what? I'm in the market out here. We should start talking about how can we do business together. And that comes into he's building in where he's at, and then we try to figure that out, and that didn't work out. But but just the conversation, it goes. We got into business just from our conversation. Now he knows what I do. I know what he does. Let's get in business.
Right.
So it goes along. So I would say, for me personally, I'm not a person who tells you everything what's going on in my life. I come from New York. So New York, we don't really give you the spill because we just think the next person is just plotting on us.
Yeah.
So me personally, I don't really dabble. I don't say I'm in investments. I just pull up. What's up? How's everybody doing? What's good? You don't talk real estate, I'm good. Until I know how long my reach is, just because they know I'm in real estate. Now, everybody knows I'm in real estate. I get deals. I get, hey, you know, Maryland's selling properties for $1. Tell me about that.
Right.
I just get emails, texts. Man, listen, and I welcome that because that text might give me a deal.
Right. Yep.
So it's now that I know how self-marketing and having a conversation with people, everything is real estate because that's what I live. That's how I feed my family. So real estate is 100% my goal. Hey, what's your name? Jerry. I'm real estate investor. I dabble in everything, flipping, whatever you could think of. I'm in there.
It's funny you said that's such a hell of a point, right? Where because you're the investor, you know, you may spark something else, or get connected to another investor where they're teaching you about a program, like the one you're selling a house, for $1 in Maryland that you had no idea about. And now you know about it because you spoke about it.
Yep.
These things come when you put it out there. It's like putting your energy out there. You're going to get that back, right? If you put the energy out there, like, hey, this is what I do. This is who I am. These people start connecting. When quick story time with me. I know usually DT is story guy.
I'm the story guy.
But story time with me is that, my mentor came about in the weirdest way. I went and got an LLC. I told my wife, hey, listen, this is what I'm gonna start doing. I'm gonna start trying to do real estate. I don't know how, I don't know what, but I'm gonna figure it out, right? Because I was a bartender, and no matter, it was clockwork. No matter what, on New Year's, I would always miss New Year's because somebody else wanted to stay late, and I couldn't get out of there, and I just hated my situation. I just hate. I'm like, I gotta figure this out. I gotta figure it out. And I went down the YouTube, rabbit hole, and I was like, I'm gonna do real estate. About a week after I get my LLC, my daughter's coach says, "What does Lance do?" And my wife was like, "Well, he's starting to get into real estate." And he goes, "Oh, really?" He goes, "Well, that's what I do. Tell him call me." I didn't know. I've known him for years. I mean, like 4, 5, 6 years at this point.
Crazy.
And never did he say, what's funny? Oh man, I'm gonna say this on camera. But his wife is a big time lawyer. And he was like always coaching the kids and doing stuff like that. But he drove a nice ass BMW. I mean, and I'm like, this dude's got it so good because he lives off of his wife. That's his big time lawyer. Right. And he's the one making the money.
Joke's on you.
I'm telling you, he's the one making real money. Not saying that she doesn't. She's a judge now, I believe. But and she makes really good money. But this guy was the one making money and didn't have to sit in the office. He was able to coach my daughter and be everywhere and drive a BMW still. I'm like, what does he do? What does he do? And I thought that. I would always think that.
It goes back, like, even, to your childhood, like, even like when you watch the movies and, they look at the drug dealers and they look at this and, you see, the lawyers and the doc, depending on what your demographics are, right? You see the person driving the nice cars and living in nice houses. If you live in a neighborhood that has nice houses, and you always wonder, what do they do? What do they do?
What do they do? Yep.
To your point.
Yep. So I'm over here thinking he's living off his wife. And this guy, his guy's making the real cake.
Yeah, he's chilling.
And he's chilling. But, and no disrespect to him at all. But the thing is, I see you coaching my kid. They start practicing at like 2 o'clock.
Because that's where you come from. That's the typical coach in the neighborhoods that we come from, right? If somebody's going to be available at 2, 3 o'clock, chances are where we come from that they don't really have a lot going on.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because they
definitely a millionaire. That's for sure.
Right. They have an affinity for children. They have an affinity for their child. They want to be involved with maybe their kids. So now they're the coaches because their kid plays, and they have extra time, and that's where we come from. That's why I can understand what you're saying.
And here he is, a millionaire coach. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was a millionaire coach, and I got it all wrong. Like Jerry just said, the joke was on me. And with saying that, to say this is that we never interacted like that. Not about like, what do you do or nothing. I never asked him that. He never. I don't know what the hell he was thinking, asking my wife, what do I do? But he said it. What's your husband doing? Oh, he's getting into real estate. Before you know it, I have my kids running through his properties that he's building, taking my time out before work and, running through his property. He's like, yeah, just let him go. It's fine. But this is how we do it. This is how we build things. This is, X, Y, and Z. He has a business partner. And I was so open to have a business partner with Jerry because he had a business partner. If he would have done it solo, I don't know if I would have been so into, come on, Jerry, I would have been like, I see him doing it by himself.
Lies you tell again, man. You need me, bro. You need me,
You need
bro.
people like me, man. Yeah. So at the end of the day, you know, it's just his blueprint was what I copied. You know, yeah,
Wow.
partner, and believe it or not,
It's interesting.
it was his business partner that was the money guy,
Mm-hmm.
right? Then he became the money guy with him. You see what I'm saying? But that was the guy that mentored him and showed him how to grow.
Right.
I never owned a business or anything like that. Jerry, who's mentored me, showed me how to go. You see what I'm saying? So it kind of went hand in hand. The problem is that his money man, you know, came from millions already, was already established millionaire. We tried to build it from the ground up, doing what they do, and we're like, okay, we're starting a little too high,
Right.
and that's how we got into investment properties. But you know, make yourself known. You know, even and I say to say this, that guy's a millionaire and made himself known to me.
You just don't know how far it gets, though.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. For me, I didn't know how far it got you. I just said, no, I'll be an investor. I'll do what I have to do. I'll speak to the people I need to speak to. But anything extra, man, listen, I don't need all that stuff. I don't need the fame. I'm good, bro. I'm good for that.
Right.
But you don't know a deal is standing right next to you and you didn't say anything to the deal because you're so sheltered.
100%.
That deal could get to change your life. But you don't want to talk to him because I don't know him. So I'm not gonna tell him who I do. No, man. No. And this is firsthand. I'm telling you, I come from not telling people.
Yeah.
I just did it. We come from not speaking. Mm-hmm. Even to talk to DT, that this relationship, he doesn't know us. For even having a podcast, we had to have this conversation.
Right. We
had to say, hey, you know, we do what we do. You know what you do. Let's talk to people.
Right.
And at first, I'm not gonna go as deep as it is because I don't want to go as deep. At first, we was like, nah, bro, I don't need it. I don't need the recognition to talk. I know I speak to my team. I speak to the circle that we deal with. If they don't take what we take, and then we was like, but does it help anybody?
Right.
That's why we're sitting here, because we're extending our hands saying, hey, we are investors. We took an L. We are winning.
Or two.
My name is just Jerry.
Yeah. And we think of little shit like this as topics.
Right.
I don't think you can find this any place, you know, where they'll talk, you know, single family versus multifamily, you know, X, Y, like all the big things. But it's the minuscule things like this where letting people know who you are, that can turn into something huge and or life changing. Right? I
got a question for you.
Yeah,
I got a question for you, and I want, if you don't mind, I want all three of us to expound on this. Start with you, Lance. What was your most profitable conversation ever? What I'm asking you is that
you're talking about with real assets, or like
what person, like you know, let's say you did a deal with somebody for $1 million today, right? How did that deal today? Where was the origin of that? Like, did that start from a cup of coffee at Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts? That Starbucks conversation is the most profitable conversation that I'm referring to, not the actual deal, but what was the most like far left, far right, the weirdest thing that just led to something that was one of the most profitable things in life? It could even be maybe the conversation between you and Jerry. I don't know.
In real estate, actually, that's kind of what it would be. It kind of, because I didn't start my journey yet, right? I put everything in order to get going. But then when we spoke, instantly we were in motion now. You see what I'm saying? It went from one day to the next when he was like, all right, well, look what's in your bank account.
What made him call you? What made you call him? That's the conversation I'm asking.
It was a random conversation through a third party.
Wow. So that's what I'm asking. That's what I want to know about.
Yeah. It was a random conversation through a third party. Had nothing to do with real estate.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's why you should tell people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It fits the script. Go ahead.
Right. You're 100% right. I like how that came together. You know,
I'm not the host, but, you know, I get it. You know what I'm saying?
You never could be. Just so you know, you never could be. You know, but it was just, not one reminiscing, but more like a,
Catching back up.
you know what I'm saying? Like, hey man, how's everything been? Everything's been good. Boom, boom, boom. Man, it's been a long time. Yeah, no. Hey man, I'm sorry I make it to your wedding. Boom, boom, like a conversation like that. Mm. And then it's like, so what are you doing? What are you up to? How's the real estate in Virginia? And I'm like,
so what to respond on that? I did a flip, and it came back that I made a little chicken on the flip in New York. And then I was like, yo, this gotta work everywhere. And where he's at, it's a little bit more cheaper. So I'm like, what's the market over there? Just asking because I just did a flip. Right. So now I just want to make sure where he's at, can we make money over there too? Right. So I just asked the question. He was like, I definitely dabble in this. I dabble in that. I'm trying to get into this. I said, well, let's start making money. So the origin was just to catch up, and it came into where we stand now.
That's fine.
Absolutely.
And it's crazy. That was his first flip, right? That was your first flip, right?
Yeah, that was the first. Yeah, it was the first.
So
I would say me. Oh, I'm sorry, my bad.
You go, Bob.
So I would say me in my story, my story with the and me and my story, I wouldn't say real estate. I was speaking to a guy who owned this because I used to make good. So I closed my security company, but I bought a security company, and the conversation was like, let's go play basketball. And he was like, yeah, let's go play basketball. I want to go play ball. And then I was like, yo, what are you going to do after? He's like, nothing. I want to sell my security company now. Playing basketball. While we were playing basketball, he said he wants to sell his security company. Well, how much you selling it for? Let's talk business. From a basketball game, I own a security company that did well for us.
Wow.
And a basketball game, just letting you know that I'm interested or he's selling, wow, it changed my life around.
That's crazy. That's
so. And not only that, him initiating the conversation. That's what I'm saying, man. Just let people know what you do, who you are, because you never know, what it is. You might be an investor and looking to get a property off, and then you just make mention that you're an investor and like, so you're an investor. I mean, do you sell properties as well? Because I want to buy one. I want to get into it. You don't know that you found your client,
right?
Your property. Right.
Yep.
I mean, it's endless. It's endless. Like just what you were saying, it's endless. It's just, you can just keep going. But I'm gonna on that as well. So, what was your first conversation?
My most profitable conversation in real estate, believe it or not, it came in prison. I made some mistakes. I did some things in life. Found myself in prison. Talking to a guy. He just so happened to know some of the people I know. And we're from around the same neighborhood. I never knew him, when I was free, but we knew the same people. So we had, that common ground. So he was like, I do, I'm a contractor in Rochester. I was like, oh, really? When I come, when I get released, my plan is to involve myself in real estate heavily. I'm gonna sell myself out to real estate. And he was like, okay, well, if you're interested, when you come home, I will give you a job. You just learn something, learn anything to do with houses, carpets, electrical, painting, wire, whatever you could do. So I learned how to do flooring because they offered that in prison. So I took that class. And when I came home, sure enough, he called me. I called him, and I let him know I'm home and I know how to do flooring. But in prison, they teach you how to do it like on like a tabletop. So your floor is like 3 feet by 3 feet, the whole floor. So if you do tile, it's 3 feet by 3 feet. If you do carpet, whatever you do, it's like on the desktop or whatever. But I learned it, and I I had a certificate that is recognized by the state of New York because, you know, I did it.
Wear that shit, bro.
No, 100%. When I came home, I was confident. So he was like, you know, all right, cool. So if anybody was to hire me to do a carpet, I was like, yeah, I could do that. Mind you, all I know is 3 feet by 3 feet. If somebody hires you to do carpet, it's probably going to be 12 by 10 or, you know what I'm saying? So, but I was super confident in my ability and I was so driven that I can't fail. Like, there's no way I could fail. Like, I'm not going to do it. So, not to get too deep into that, but my most profitable conversation ever was that. Let me explain why. Please pay attention, because this is why I am where I am today. This is why I am who I am today. Because of in prison, I had that conversation with one gentleman who nobody, mind you, this person nobody talked to. This was he's a weird person. He's a great dude, a loyal dude, but he don't really talk to nobody. Like, he's very militant. He's in his space. He don't want no friends. Like, you know, he reminds me of my father. That's why I took a liking to him, because he reminded me of my father. Like, he wakes up at 7 o'clock in the morning, mad at the pillow. Like, for no reason. He just wakes up mad. So my dad is that
the cold side.
Yeah, like my dad is that type of person. So that's why I took a liking to him. So one morning, how it really started at 7 o'clock in the morning, he was all mad. I was like, yo, bro, what did your pillow do to you? He was like, what? And then that's how I broke the ice. Long story short, whatever. So when I came home, I told him I know how to do flooring. And he was like, listen, I don't really need a flooring guy, but, you know, if you can be profitable to me, I got a job for you. Cool. So what I did was I got a job somewhere else. And after I got out of work at 2 o'clock. So I told him from 2:30 to like 9 o'clock, I'll work for you for free. I'll work for you for free. You just teach me everything you know. Any questions I ask, show me. Any flooring you got, I'll do for you for free. If I fuck it up, don't be mad at me. Because
I don't know about 3 by 3, bro.
I learned on 3 by 3. So he was like, you know what? I'm good with that. So I did that for 6 months. I worked for him for free from 2 o'clock until 9 o'clock every day for free for 6 months. After 6 months, the job I had, I got laid off. So you get unemployment. So I was still getting paid unemployment. So then after when I got laid off, now I'm available earlier. So I would work for him for free. You know what I'm saying? To continue to learn. So I did that for like a month. After that, I bought my own house. How did I buy that house? The same gentleman that I spoke to in prison, who I worked for free, his brother was the president of a non-for-profit organization. They needed a secretary. My wife was working in dialysis. She hated her job. He needed a secretary. So I was like, babe, why don't you talk to old boy and get on that? She did that. She got onto the secretary. She worked for him for like a year. After a year, he decided to open up a property management company. And the reason why he decided to open up property management, because he thought that my wife was a perfect person to head the property management division. So she did that. And he helped, you know, that was through their company. They did that. He taught her a little bit, but 9 times she learned most of the shit by the fly. But it was him saying that she was a person, whatever. My point is that simple conversation that I had in prison led to me coming home to be a contractor, her getting involved with property management. Fast forward, I bought my first house through his brother.
Correct.
Right? Correct. I bought it for $12,000 and he allowed me to finance the deal because I didn't have no money.
Right.
So I paid payments on that property. That if I didn't know him, I would have never got that property. That's a whole nother conversation, but whatever. Get that property through him. That's my first flip that I fell on. It was an accident because when I bought the property, I bought it for me and my wife to move into. I fixed it. I did everything I did to it. That's why when Jerry said basketball game, I'm going to go to that. So I fixed the property. It took me 4 months. I fixed it. I made it ours. My wife wanted everything a certain way, kitchen, bathroom, walk-ins, all that. I did all that. We had a housewarming party. It was too small. My family didn't fit. People were in the basement, first floor, second. It was crazy. The next day after the housewarming party, my wife's boss calls me. He says, yo, I'm playing basketball at the sports garden. You want to play? I'm like, yeah, hell yeah, pick me up. He comes, picks me up. So when I get in the car, he's like, hey man, how are things? How's the house? I was like, yeah, it's okay, but I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm over it. It's too small. He was like, do you want to sell it? I'm like, hell yeah. Mind you, I only lived there for like 60 days. I'm like, hell yeah, I want to sell it. He's like, all right, cool. I'm gonna call you tomorrow. So we go play basketball, drops me back off. The next day he calls me. He's like, listen, I got some people who are looking for properties and they're looking at a couple of properties around your neighborhood. Do you mind if I show your house? I'm like, yeah, no problem. I just got to take my dog for a walk. So call me when, you want to come. I take my dog for a walk. Long story short, they fall in love with the house. They want to buy it. I don't even know a price. We figure out a price. They buy it. It just so happens to turn into now my first flip. I made $70,000 off the house.
Right.
I know I made that story long, but it boils down to a simple conversation from my bad prison situation turns into the most profitable, best conversation, best connection ever in life.
It sculptures your whole life.
If I didn't have that conversation, I probably wouldn't be where I'm at today. 1,000%.
That's sick.
1,000%.
That's definitely crazy. That's definitely great. I mean, the moral to all this, guys, is you need to speak about who you are. Don't be scared of where you came from. Have conversations. Don't be scared of who you are. As an investor, as a contractor, you don't know what it leads to.
Yeah, good, bad, or ugly.
It goes as nobody's gonna advocate more than you.
Yep.
And you speaking about what you do could take you to a promised land. Like DT had one conversation in jail, and he's sitting down with millionaires right now. Yeah. He's sitting down with real wealthy people now. And
we all know that's a tough conversation for me to have.
For sure.
Yeah.
We talk about this regularly, right? Because obviously we run a very well established business, and to tell publicly that you've been through that type of situation is not easy. For me, it's easy to say, like, I'm not ashamed of who I am and where I came from, but it's hard for people to hear and still trust. You know what I mean?
That's the key.
Is what it boils down to, right? Because if you think if I say something like that, or if I admit that that's my past, this person isn't that, I changed my views on that person, which there's going to be some people that do it and don't. And nevertheless, I'm not here to sway or dissuade them. My track record is proven. So I'm not, neither way I'm good. But
is it?
I haven't. Yes. I have never shared that on this platform, and I don't really share it with a lot of people. I have shared with Lance and Jerry because we go back, whatever. But nevertheless, I say that and I circle back to it. To emphasize that, first and foremost, never be ashamed where you're from, right? Your past is your past. Who you are is who you are. You can't hide. You can't, it is what it is, right?
Don't let it hold you back, though.
I don't want to ever use that as a crutch. I don't want to use that as like a handicap, because I'm not. I'm very well. I'm good in life. I made mistakes, but I've done a lot of good things as well. You know what I mean? My family's good. I'm a good person. Whatever it is, what it is. So, with that being said, you never want to not say who you are. And that's why I chose to say this on this platform, because I wouldn't be who I am in real estate had it not been for my prison term.
There you go. The facts are the facts.
Like, that's just a fact. You know what I mean? And take it how you want to, but I really thank God for me going through my term in prison, because again, I wouldn't be where I'm at. I wouldn't have met that man. And that man allowed, put me in contact with certain people to put me where I'm at today. Matter of fact, let's go even further. That same man, brother, which was my wife's boss at the time, where my property management company business is, we ended up buying that building from him because he wanted to move to Florida and he needed it just worked out. It was, and he owner financed the deal. I put $0 down. We could talk about that later though. We talk about that later. Yeah,
that's absolutely bananas.
Yeah,
but listen, that's just what it is, man. It's H.G.R.G, the realest podcast.
Yeah, you don't get this nowhere else. You're not
gonna get this type of content from any other real estate podcast. We just give you both sides. We give you everything.
We're just related, bro. We relate to everybody across the board.
Yeah,
we just relate, and if you don't believe in it, my man just told you where it's at.
They gonna learn soon because we got people taking pictures now of them closing with this site. You guys have no idea. Yeah. You have no idea. HGRG.club. You have no clue.
Talk heavy, Lance. I see you, host.
They got no idea. But my thing is, listen, guys, we appreciate you. We rock with you, and we appreciate you guys rocking with us. And listen, like, subscribe, tune in, and we're gonna bring another one to you. Take care.
Slow.
Yeah. What they say? I'm so divine. Imperfection, perfection, my presence shines. My mental is parasailing maritime. They say I'm destined to read the palm line. Yeah, I'm so divine. Imperfection, perfection.